Welcome to a playthrough of Torchlight 2. This will be the first commentated video by Deimos as a member of the Dutchlings. As the Dutchlings, we try to upload as many playthroughs of many kind of different games. Today we play the action RPG Torchlight 2. Action RPGs are a subgenre of RPG with an action-adventure element, basically a dungeon crawler with a story. When you select new game, you can choose from 4 classes. First is the Ember Mage, which excels at powerful spells at range, but is very squishy in melee. Second, you have the Berserker, which excels at melee fighting, dashing through enemies, and healing at an extraordinary rate while smashing the enemies to bits. Then you have the Engineer, which is basically an all-around class. It can DPS, it can tank, it can support, and is the safest pick for your first playthrough. You also have the Outlander, which excels at ranged skills and damage and high mobility, but is also very squishy in melee. For this playthrough, we'll play the Engineer. You can select random features, and usually I just pick the most gooey one, like this one. We'll call it character Deimos. And we'll go with the Panda. And his name will be Freddy. You have 4 difficulties to choose from when you play this game. Casual is really a roll through, which kinda ruins the fun of the game, in my opinion. Normal is a easy challenge, but has some certain tactics to it. Veteran is for the players that want a bit of a challenge, and Elite is just play smart or die. You can also play in hardcore mode, which means if your character dies, it's dead. You cannot retrieve it, you cannot retrieve any of the items unless you stored some of it in the shared chests, which I will explain later. For this playthrough, we'll play on veteran mode.
Deep beneath Torchlight, a darkness gathered. 3 heroes confronted the beast called Ordrock. Yet even in death, Ordrock's corrupted heart endured and called out. Heroes may fall, hope may fade, but new heroes will rise.
In the introduction cutscene, you see the big bad evil guy smashing down on a party of heroes, and you're basically a new hero rising to challenge the bad guy. You'll spawn in a ton, and as you can see, you have a mini-map, you have a skill bar, you have a charge bar, and you have a health and mana bubble.
I think this is as far as I can go. You should carry on to the Asterian Enclave, but you're on your own. Warn them that the alchemist destroyed Torchlight and is headed their way. He may be there already.
When you accept a quest, you can see a marker on your minimap where you have to go. And basically in this game you just crawl through the areas, defeat monsters while you level up, gear up, and become stronger so you can eventually face the evil enemy, which is in the quest explained as the Alchemist. You move around by using your left mouse button, and as you can see your pet is automatically defending you. Your pet has 3 settings. He can either be overly aggressive when he just attacks about anything he can see. He can be on defensive whenever you attack something or it attacks you, your pet will defend you. And you can put him in passive, which means he just runs behind you like a extra inventory. You can also notice there are several buttons already filled. The first 2 buttons are the most important ones. They're your bread and butter of this game. They are the health and mana potions. The mana potions you use when you want to spam more skills, and the health potions is to regenerate your health when you get hit. As you can notice, your health does not regenerate on itself, and you either need health regen from equipment, skills, or any other means as potions. The skill on the right side next to your mana is the skill that's by default bound to your right mouse button, and if you click it, it will execute that skill. Every skill uses mana, well, almost every skill, and it speeds up the clearing of the monsters. What you also might have noticed is that I leveled up before, and when you level up you have 2 things to do. You can select stats. The stats increase either your damage, like strength increases your damage and your crit damage, dexterity increases your dodge chance and critical chance, and also your fumble recovery. Fumble is the mechanic where you have a slightly less effective attack and you keep a lower amount of damage for a few seconds. Focus is a magic oriented stat which increases your mana and your magic damage done, and also for dual wielders it increases the chance that you attack with both weapons at once. Vitality is a defensive stat which increases your armor, health, and if you use a shield, block chance. And for the engineer we'll go the 2-handed build, which is just pure damage and a bit of survivability. As you can see, the first skill is always leveled on any character, and you can improve skills or pick other skills which enhance your ability to clear through the enemies. You also have a few passive skills which either increase your damage or increase your tankiness or give other effects. The first skill I'll select is the healing bot. The healing bot is a very nice skill to have as an engineer. And once you summon the healing bot in an area, it will continuously follow you. It cannot be attacked, it will not attack, but it will generate a pulse which heals you every few seconds. As you can see, my health is regenerating because of the healing bot. For the first few playthroughs, I would advise you to clear the whole area, just explore and defeat as many monsters as possible to level up. If you have a level advantage, the areas get easier because your armor is higher from equipment, which I'll show you later, and also you have more health to survive the hits. I tend to kill the ranged ones first because they are nasty. They will just keep attacking you, and they do in general more damage over time if you leave them alive. So when you encounter big packs, that's usually when you use your skills. You can always use your skills in this game and use mana potions, but if you want to conserve your gold or mana potions, usually in the easy areas you just refrain from using them. first elite mod we encounter, you can spot an elite mod by an aura eyes around him, or when you select him, he has a purple health bar. When you play Torchlight and you enter a new map, the map is randomly generated by chunks, so that means that certain elements get placed in random orders to create a map. So every time you play a map or a new game and you enter a new map, the map will be randomized, and that means no map is identical till a certain amount of plays. Also on maps, different things will spawn, like a shrine or chest. Chest is just basically loot, any clickable. You can click like dead soldiers or rocks or anything else. Gives you items, so you should always click those. And you also have random quests where you can help people, or you can free them, or you have to collect some things for them, and you can select a reward. And in this case we get a nice axe. Now we move to the equipment window. As you can see, you have many kinds of equips, and by just pressing the right mouse button you can equip a weapon. As you also notice is that I found a socketable, which you can just place in any socket, and when you have them, just use them. You can always either retrieve the sockets or retrieve the equipment, but the other one gets destroyed. As you can notice here, there's a locked golden chest. When there's a locked golden chest in the area, there's always a boss that drops a key or a rare mob, and as it happens, I already defeated the one with the key, so I can just open it, and thus we explored the first area. As you can see, when you do not spend stat points or skill points, the game kindly remembers you to use them and shows it on any loading screen till you use them. As you can also see, there are different tiers in any skill. Whenever you put 5 skill points in a skill up to the max of 15, it gets an extra effect. So when I put 5 skill points in this, it will create a flame, 5 flames actually instead of 4, and they will travel further.
I thank you for your warning, but it has arrived too late. This alchemist has already come and gone, and it was all I could do to prevent him from entering the Enclave. As it was, many Asterians were injured, and since the confrontation, several more have become ill. We are not sure what is causing it. After his assault failed here, the alchemist carried on southward toward the temple steps. Commander Vale and her vanquishers arrived a short while later and pursued him, hoping to prevent further damage.
When you arrive in the first time, you're encountering some people who will help you pursue the alchemist, and you'll follow his path through the game to find him eventually. And while you follow this path, you'll level up, gear up, and strengthen yourself so you can battle the alchemist.
Commander Vale believes that the alchemist might attack the Wellspring Temple in an attempt to reach the Guardian of Water. For what nefarious purpose, I am afraid to speculate. There has been no word from either Vale or the Guardian. Scout the Wellspring Temple and determine if the Guardian of Water is in any danger.
In town you can do several things. You can buy from the potion vendor, which has potions, pet tags or skill. Pet tags are a equipment for your pet. It can have 2 tags and a collar, and it can have several effects, either beneficial for you or your pet itself. Also you see 2 chests. One is a shared stash. As you can see, there are already some equipment in it from previous playthroughs, and this is shared among any character. A little side note though, if you play a hardcore character and a casual character, the shared stash are different. All casual characters share 1 stash, and the hardcore characters do the same. Then you also have a personal stash. This stash is convenient to use for your own stuff, but in a hardcore playthrough, if you have anything stored in a stash and you die, it is lost. You also have the armor vendor, which tends to have nice armor equipments for you to buy, and you can also sell. By selling, you just hold shift and click to sell. As you can see, I have a new great hammer, but I cannot equip it yet. It either requires me to be level 6 or have a strength of 27. It doesn't matter which you achieve first. If you have strength of 27 but you're still level 4, you can still equip it because you meet one requirement. And usually when you do multiple playthroughs, you aim for the weapons to use before you have that required level. You also have a skill respec. On a note though, it can only respec the last 3 skills, so when you do a wrong skill, make sure to do it within 3 levels, otherwise you cannot refund it. The waypoint portal is a portal system which allows you to go back to town. There are several fixed spawns in the game, but you can also at any moment activate your own portal by using a waypoint scroll. That's the blue scroll. There's also a little minigame called fishing. You don't need to buy a rod or anything, you can just click the fishing hole and wait for the bubble to go inside the logo, and when you click it you catch fish. Fishes have several effects. They can either change your pet into anything, increase your pet damage, or even give quite some of gold. The fishing hole in town is not that special, it doesn't give any rare rewards at a high rate or such alike. Fishing holes you encounter in areas are usually worth it and give higher rewards. You also have several side quests which you should always just pick up, and they give you a nice boost on the way. As you can see, the game kindly remembered again I forgot to use skill points, so I'll assign them now.
Glad you made it.
As you can see, the main quest is again highlighted on the minimap for you to follow. But as a completionist, I usually complete every map. I go to every hook, cranny, hole, click everything and just see what happens. Because a level advantage is always good. As you can notice here, I'm not healing because I entered a new area, so there's no healing bot. Just need to activate it once and it will follow me through this area. We'll skip those, it's just a few mobs. There are also mobs who have shields. As you can see, it says shattered, or it can either block, and if they block they don't get any damage, and you need to shatter their shields before you can do damage. Now I leveled up, and as you might have remembered, I needed a strength of 27, so I'm gonna increase my strength, put another skill in here, and equip this weapon. Well, I'm not level 6 yet, but it gives me a significant damage boost. When you click on a mob, you can also see it has several notifications. It can either mean it has a ability or it does something when it encounters. Like the red thingies are very annoying. You always want to kill them because everything you kill leaves behind a corpse, and the red gnashers are they called, tend to duplicate themselves by using corpus, and it can get out of hand. It's not that dangerous, it's just more annoying. The major thing I like about this game is that it's always different. The start, the equipment you get, the kind of maps you get can really change a lot of things in the game. Like you can either have a lucky start or a bit slow start, or always different elements. And even after many playthroughs, there are still some elements I haven't seen yet, and that keeps the game exciting. As you can also notice, when I damage mobs, this bar increases. This is your charge bar. Every class has a unique charge bar and does different effects. The engineer charge bar just fills when you hit enemies, and when it fills, it increases like by levels. And certain skills use these levels to enhance the skills, or some even do more damage but not consume the charges. Here we encounter a set dungeon. It's always here in the map, but it's never a set location, so it can either spawn in the beginning or at the end. And this is a side dungeon where you get nice rewards and always pick up any side quest rewards you can get. And here we'll select the quest and enter the dungeon. Like maps, dungeons are always randomly generated and have different elements every time you play it. Here again I have to resummon my bot, but it will follow me through the whole dungeon. Unless I change maps again, of course. Usually for the bigger packs you start using mana or potions. In this case I didn't need the potions yet. When you open chests they have some traps. They're not that dangerous, but they can really catch you by surprise, and I guess that's what a trap should do. These ghosts do a very annoying beam which slows you and drains your health. But it's nothing too dangerous. There I chose a passive just to increase my tankiness. It isn't really needed yet, but as you could notice, some skills, when you put some skill points in it, only the next time you can put a skill point in it unlocks at a certain level. So now I need to be level 6. So you're kind of forced to pick different skills at different levels. Also, in any map or dungeon map, randomly can spawn an enchanter. An enchanter is a unique way to improve your armor or your equipment, and as you can see here, the boss hits quite hard, so I'm starting to use potions just to be safe. and you find many on the way. And you can always buy new ones with the gold you find. Also, in any dungeon there can be randomly a secret or not. It depends on the RNG. If there's a secret or not, there can be multiple secrets or just no secret at all. And the secrets are not that difficult to spot if you know where to look for, but if you don't know where to look for, they're quite hard, and it's a fun way of exploring dungeons just looking around. As you can see here, there's a panel, it has a light twinkle, and when you click it you open a secret room with a lot of treasure. Now those secret rooms have one special treasure which is called a rejuvenation potion, which is like normal potions, only it increases it doesn't increase, but it regens mana and health, and it just does it at a extraordinary speed. So in this case it regens 900 health over 2 seconds, while a normal potion does it over 8 seconds. So these kind of potions are really handy to have in a pinch. Now with the enchanter, they will always stay in the area as long as you don't click him. So when you start talking to them and enchanting things, they will slowly walk away and disappear, and they can randomly spawn in any dungeon. So for now I'll leave it there, maybe come back in a later level or later opportunity. The main thing to avoid in this game to stay alive is not pull too many mobs at the same time. You can run around like a headless chicken and aggro everything. That might result in some dangerous situations. In the earlier stage of this game it doesn't matter that much, but in the later stages it can be really deadly if you pull multiple strong mobs. And as you can see there, that's the entrance to the boss. This dungeon only has one layer, but there are dungeons where there are more layers, but once you see the boss name, it means you enter the boss level. Just destroy everything, loot everything, so you can collect gold or equipment so you get stronger. And that's the main part of this game, just get stronger, level up, and make your way through all the maps. Now I'm about to enter the boss. It's good to do your level up, your gear, and just prepare for the boss like you would do in any game. As you can see, my inventory is nearly full, but this game has Freddy. Freddy is a pet and also a carrier. You can just give him equipment, he can even sell it for you. And while you increase your equipment, the equipment which you put a handy socket or the equipment you want to keep, you can just hold on to it, you have two equipment windows, so you have quite an amount of space. As you can also see, you can find unidentified equipment. You need an identify scroll. You can either find them while you're traveling, or you can buy them, or you can even send your pet out to buy it. When you send your pet out, it will show a timer when it returns. In that time, it will not fight with you or defend you. And when you press recall pet, it'll come back. The pet has several windows. It can have consumables. You can give him the fish. It also has some skills, which I'll explain when I find one. And you can also make him shot by just selecting the item. Right now we're just... As you notice, you find any equipment for any class, which you can put in your shared stash if you want to use it for another character. But usually the equipment that are blue, green and white are easy to find and are usually not put in the shared stash. And the main thing you want to focus on is survivability, especially in the later part of the games, and especially if you're playing hardcore, which is just a challenge for yourself. You want to survive, and by increasing your armor you significantly increase the chance that you survive. As you can notice, I entered a new area, so I need to resummon my things again. And just slowly make my way through. As you can see, this boss has a special ability. It states it when you select it, and this boss has the teleporting ability. As you can also hear, my pet is badly wounded. He does never die, but he just runs around and just will... The announcer will keep screaming, "Your pet is wounded." You can also heal your pet if you want by selecting, I think, Shift C of Z actually, and by that way you give him your potion, but it uses a potion. Usually I refrain from using potions on my pet because he's just running around aggroing things or killing some things, and when he's running around some mobs tend to chase him and just ignore you for whatever reason. But he never dies, so... You have the Haunted special ability, which releases some ghosts when you kill a mob and which damage you. When you kill a big pack with a lot of monsters who have Haunted, it can be quite dangerous. For some bosses you might want to avoid their skills, but in the first few bosses the game is very kind to you and it's not that dangerous unless you play on elite mode, in which this boss can one-shot you if you are in a wrong position. Which I found out the painful way. Another thing you want to avoid is when you saw the boss doing an ability which shot ice spikes out of its sword. If you stand against a wall and the ice spike cannot travel further, it will just keep doing damage to you, and that can be very, very nasty. When the boss is defeated, you get a nice chest, and in this chest there was a unique Uniques are the second best of the second rarest item, I should say, and those are usually worth keeping and sharing amongst other characters, such as this is for a Outlander with a lot of effects and can increase the speed at which you play through the game a lot. Now he's done the quest and we can accept the reward. You get some gold, experience and fame. Fame is a system where as you kill more rare mobs or do a quest, your fame in the town increases, they are more happy and they grant you skill points. Here we'll select a weapon, and this hammer is great, so I'll just take it. And as you enter the next area, there will be a waypoint portal, usually very close to the entrance, which allows you to go to the town without using any scrolls. So we'll do that. When you enter a new area, you tend to go back to town, especially if there's a waypoint portal, sell all your stuff, buy some stuff to equip better, and hand in some quests if you've done them, and just increase your strength. Put some things in your shared stash, like a gun, and just prepare for the next area. I hope you like this first video of the playthrough. We went through the early games of the Torchlight. It's usually easy to go through here, and as you play more you'll just rush through here and go to the somewhat difficult areas, and there you'll start playing more cautiously and with more tactics. If you enjoyed watching this video, feel free to watch the next part or subscribe to Dutchlings, and I'll see you at the next video.